YouTube, what is going on? DA Comics here, and welcome back to a long-awaited comic book pickups video. Got a little bit of a new setup for you guys today. I wanted to get a little bit of a closer view on the books, because in the past I've just kind of been holding them up here for you guys, and I wanted to be able to have a little bit of a variety in the perspectives here. So I'm testing this out. Let me know what you think in the comments, how you feel about it. But it's been a little while since my last video. I've just been really busy, to be honest, and for a while I wasn't really picking up a lot of books. So I didn't really have a lot to talk about in these videos, but I do need to catch up because I do have a fairly sizable stack of comics at this point from all the new books that have come out, and there's been a couple opportunities for me to get some back issues recently, and so that's kind of piled up. But hope everyone's having a good 2023 so far. This is my first video of 2023, 3 months into it, but you know, it is what it is. You know, we do what we do. We got a lot of books to go over today. I'm not going to really talk about my actual thoughts on the story too much, because if I take my time to review every single one of these new releases, this video is going to be like an hour long. I think going forward, I'm going to try and keep these videos focused on just pickups and like what I actually picked up and give like a brief thoughts on it. But then going forward, if I want to talk more in depth on my thoughts of new comic book releases, I'll do like a full separate video, kind of like a review style type of thing. So stay tuned for that. But anyway, let's dive right into these. We're going to go through the new books first. And no, they're not in order of when they came out. I kind of just put them in a random order here, kind of trying to save the better for later. But first up, we have Captain America Sentinel of Liberty, issue number 8. This wasn't bad. I am enjoying this book, but I have decided to actually drop this series, so I am not going to be picking it up further beyond this point, mostly for budget reasons. I had to drop some books, and that one was just kind of one of the first choices to be dropped. Then we got Scarlet Witch number 1, Classic Homage Variant Edition. I wanted to get cover A, but my store was sold out of it, and they had this cover. I wanted to try out the series, see if I wanted to pick it up, and I thought this was a cool cover. After reading it, it wasn't bad, but I'm not going to be picking up the series further. It wasn't good enough for me to start picking it up. Then we got some Ghost Rider books. We got Ghost Rider number 10. Sorry about the glare on the bag there. It's a little bit hard to avoid when you're dealing with these plastic bags, but going forward, hopefully I'll be able to get a better setup in the future. But Ghost Rider 10 with Exhaust. Then I got a variant of issue 10, the Classic Homage variant, A Legend is Born. And you know what, I'm just going to start stacking these up here, it's a little easier. Then we got issue number 11 and issue number 12, kind of leading up to the return of Danny Ketch, the classic Ghost Rider from the 90s, the Ghost Rider from the series that I really like, Volume 2, so looking forward to that, and his return. He's looking kind of cool based on the covers they've previewed of what he's going to look like. Next up, we got Strange, issue number 10. This is the last issue in this series. Ended up being shorter than I thought it was going to be. I knew that it was going to be limited. Anytime they do the main character's dead and a side character is taking over, it never lasts very long, but I thought at least it would go to like 20 or 30 issues like Superior Spider-Man did, but it only made it 10 issues. I also got this variant cover, another classic homage variant. I really love those, where they kind of pay homage to the old school books. Next up, we got Joe Fixit number 1 and number 2. Decided to try these out once I saw that Spider-Man was in them, and also I love Hulk, and I wanted to see what they did with it. But I wasn't too hooked on it. I don't think I'm going to pick up any issues beyond that. Like I said, budget's been kind of tight lately, so I'm trying to kind of trim back on the amount of new books that I'm picking up. Next up, we got Tales from Earth-6, a celebration of Stan Lee. I'm going to be honest, I didn't even read this one because I haven't read any of the old comics that these are kind of continuations from, the Stan Lee versions of DC characters. I just thought it was really cool that DC was doing this as kind of a tribute to Stan Lee. So I wanted to pick it up. I thought it would be a cool book to have. Then we got Gotham City Year 1, issue number 4. Now, I'm going to be honest, like I said in past pickups videos, this book is good. This series is good. But I'm having a hard time really sticking to it issue to issue. And when I decided to trim back the amount of books I was picking up, this was one of the series that got on the chopping block, and I am not picking up any issues beyond this one. I would like to maybe give it a stab when it is fully out, picking up the trade paperback and trying to give it a read there, where I could read it as one continuous story. I think it will be better in that way. I think if you're looking to read this book, I think it will be best read as a whole when it's done versus in chapters as it has been. Next up, we got Wonder Woman 795. This storyline with Eros kind of attacking the city, and then it concludes in 796. Now, I gotta be honest, I really don't like these covers because I feel like they're, especially specifically 796, I feel like it's kind of doing the... It's not doing justice to Wonder Woman as a character. It feels a little bit for the male... Or, how do I put this? It's like under Eros' spell with hearts, and the girls are on their knees, and it's just like this really weird dynamic where it's like, this is supposed to be a powerful, strong woman, and I understand that this is like meant to showcase that Eros is having his spell over them. But I don't know. I just feel like this is a really weird cover. It's not really what I want to see. I want to see Wonder Woman bashing through a wall and punching a criminal, cool stuff like that. So I wish that they weren't doing it like this, but what they gotta do what they gotta do. I understand. Next up, we have Justice Society of America, issue number 3. Now, I actually have been enjoying this book, but I've been having a really hard time following it, and I did decide to drop it after this issue, so not going to be picking that one up further. This next book I have been waiting for so long. Superman Space Age, book 3, the final book in this prestige format series. I love it. I loved it. Superman Space Age, you guys may remember the first book was really the one that kind of got me back into DC Comics in the last year, where I picked up Superman Space Age, thought it was really cool, and then that just kind of set me off picking up new DC books again, and also picking up DC back issues. Like, it all kind of started with Superman Space Age, so I was really excited to get to the conclusion of that series, have the complete run, the 3-issue run, of course. Very, very cool book. Love it. Let me get these out of the way here. Next up, we have Poison Ivy number 10. This is not a series that I am picking up, but I saw this cover and I just really like the art style with the skull and very crisp lines, like the way her hair is drawn. I just think it's really, really good. Obviously, it's a little bit sexual of a cover, but I'm not picking it up for that reason. You guys know me. I don't pick up comic books like that. I just thought it was a really, really cool art style, and so I wanted to pick up that book. Then we got Carnage number 8. Love this series. Love this series. I love how they are making it kind of cosmic, which isn't something you would typically see with Carnage in the past. But we have Carnage 8, number 9, and number 10. I also picked up a variant of number 10 because, wow, I just love that cover. It reminds me a lot of kind of the old school 90s Carnage comics. Very, very cool. Sorry if you can hear some like power tools outside. They're doing some work on my building. I thought they were done when I started recording, but evidently they are not. Moving along, though, we got Batman number 131. This is the Batman of Gotham storyline where Bruce has been sent to another universe, and it's kind of dealing with that Gotham. It's interesting. I don't like it as much as the Failsafe storyline, at least the first part of it, but it is a good bit of fun. We also have issue 132, and then the most recent issue, 133. It's good. It's definitely good. It's definitely still worth a read. But I've been a little bit less excited about new Batman books, whereas like when Chip Zdarsky's run first started with the Failsafe arc, I was genuinely hyped for every single new comic that came out in that series. So that it hasn't quite been the case, but it's not the end of the world. But speaking of a Batman comic that is absolutely phenomenal, Batman and the Joker, the Deadly Duo. By all accounts, ask any reviewer online, and this is probably one of the best Batman comics to come out in recent years. It's so good. Mark Silvestri's art is incredible. The story is intriguing. Really just worth picking up if you're not already. That is, of course, book 3. We have book 4. And then the most recent issue is book 5 here. I don't know how many issues they're going to. I don't know if the next one is the last one or if they're going to 7 or 12. I have no idea. But I am definitely looking forward to future issues of this book because it is absolutely phenomenal. I think they are writing Batman and the Joker perfectly in that book. Next up, we got Miles Morales Spider-Man. We have issue number 2 here, cover A. We also have a classic homage variant of number 2. This is, of course, the cover swipe of Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man number 1. Very, very legendary cover that a lot of people know very well. And then we have issue number 3 and issue number 4. Really enjoying this series. I was not a huge fan of Saladin Ahmed's writing on the last Miles Morales run, so this has definitely been a very refreshing breath of fresh air to have a new writer on the book, and I've definitely been enjoying it. And I like that they're introducing a new villain that is unique to Miles and is actually interesting and exciting, so very good stuff there. Let me grab the next pile here. All right. Moving right along, we have All Out Avengers number 5. This is a variant. My store did not have cover A, and frankly, I didn't care enough to try and find it. Normally, if my store sells out of a cover that I need, I'll just order it online, but I didn't really feel like doing that for this book. It didn't seem that important, so I just went ahead and went without it. Then I'm realizing I had these in a mixed-up order. We have Justice Society of America number 2. Already talked about number 3. But that is there. Then we have the rest of the Dark Web books. So we have Venom number 14, number 15. We have a variant of number 15, another awesome homage variant. I believe this is a cover swipe of Amazing Spider-Man 375, a book that I have. Really great cover. I wish it was foil like that cover is, but, you know, it is what it is. And then Venom number 16. Dark Web, I've already given my thoughts on that. I might make a whole separate video talking about it, but I feel like at this point it's over and done and no one really cares about it anymore. Alright, we are back. My phone that I was using to record ran out of storage space, so I had to fix that. But continuing on from Dark Web, we have Venom number 17, continuing the story beyond that. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I'm not really enjoying this Venom run very much, but it is what it is. We also have Dark Web Finale here. This was the kind of last issue. Again, it's a variant because my store sold out of cover A, but I just really don't care about this book at all, so I did not bother finding the cover A. Then we have Amazing Spider-Man 16 and 17. I really don't like what they did with the Dark Web covers because they all just look samey. Like even Venom and Spider-Man, they're all the same with these green webs in the background. I just really don't like it. But, you know, we'll move on from there. I did get a variant of 17. This is, of course, a homage to Amazing Spider-Man 50. I am not a huge fan of John Romita Jr.'s art, so I do like his dad's version better. But I do think there's something cool about him doing a cover swipe of his dad's iconic cover from the past. And then there is issue 18 and an homage variant to that. This is, of course, a cover swipe of, I believe, issue 100. And then, moving beyond Dark Web, we had a 2-issue storyline in 19 and 20. This was Peter and Black Cat going up to a spa for the weekend, and then getting into some superhero hijinks, as well as running into MJ and Paul. No comment on that. I'm going to have a whole separate video talking about this Amazing Spider-Man run, so I'm going to save my thoughts for that. But then we also have issue 21. This is the beginning of the story arc we've been waiting for. Couldn't care less. Don't care. Book sucks. Move on. Get a new writer. Alright. Continuing forward, we have Invincible Iron Man number 2. Definitely enjoying this series. Gonna keep picking it up going forward. We have issue number 3 here. Great stuff. Then we have Dan Slott and Mark Bagley's Spider-Man series. This is their End of the Spider-Verse Part 4. And then we have issue number 5 with a Planet of the Apes variant here. And issue number 6. I believe the next issue is the last part in this End of the Spider-Verse story. I'm going to be honest, I haven't really cared very much for it. It kind of feels like the Spider-Verse thing should have been done already. They kind of marketed this as like, hey, we got Spider-Verse, then we did Spider-Geddon, and now we need to kind of end the trilogy. But this main villain, this Shothra or whatever she's called, kind of just came out of nowhere and has nothing to do with the other like Spider-Verse stories. So it just feels really random and disjointed and just, I don't know. I'm not loving it too much. But I tell you what, a book that I am loving is this new Fantastic Four series. Wow, is this book good. I said it, I think, in the last pickups video I did. This book really feels like it's going to be Immortal Hulk levels of good. Because the creators are coming into it with the same love and passion that they did for Immortal Hulk. Like, the writers and artists and editors who did Immortal Hulk, they came into that with a love of the character, a love of the history, and said, you know, we want to make the Hulk book. And it feels like these creators are doing something similar, where they're coming in and going, we want to make the Fantastic Four book. And it's become a bit of a joke to me now, like, anytime I see that a series has Alex Ross covers, I go, oh, that's going to be a really good series, because Alex Ross did the covers for Immortal Hulk, and that series is one of the best Marvel has put out in recent history. And now Alex Ross is doing the covers to this series, so anytime he touches a series with the covers, it turns out good. I did get an homage variant for issue number 3, featuring Galactus and the Watcher. And then there is issue number 4 and issue number 5. Really, truly great stuff. I don't like to just dog on Dan Slott's run, but it wasn't for me, wasn't my favorite. This series definitely is a huge improvement. And I'm noticing now, looking at issue 5, it's Legacy 698, so we are coming up on issue 700. So that's definitely going to be an interesting one to see. And I really enjoy how this series has been kind of like a series of connected one-offs. Like, there is a continuous story, but it's not like part 1, part 2, part 3. Like, each issue kind of stands on its own, which reminds me of the way comics used to be written. So I really like that. My chair is so squeaky. I'm hearing it every 5 seconds. Moving along, we got Detective Comics issue 1067 with a variant here. I thought that was a cool cover. And then 1068 and 69. These covers are absolutely beautiful. And this series is really, really good. I'm loving what they're doing with this kind of long-form Gotham Nocturne story where they had, like, the Overture. Now they have Act 1, and it's going to be going for a while yet. Really interesting, really reminiscent of kind of a Court of Owls style conspiracy type of story, and I really like that. Moving right along. We have a couple of Batman One Bad Day comic books. We have Batman One Bad Day Bane. I didn't love this book, to be honest. The story was a little weird. I don't like how a lot of these books, because these One Bad Day issues are supposed to be like the pinnacle story for these Batman villains, but then they're like not villains. Like in this one, he's not a villain. It's like him after he's what's the word? Rehabilitated. So I don't know. It's a little weird. But then there's One Bad Day Catwoman. This one was very good. I did enjoy this a lot. But the one that really surprised me is Clayface. I was not really expecting to care about this one because I've never really cared about Clayface that much. And I remember I bought this book and I actually didn't read it for a while. It kind of sat on my to-read pile. And then I read it recently and it was actually really good. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. It's probably one of my favorites from the series so far. Obviously, Riddler is still the number one. But very, very, very good issue there. We only have one more of those to go. It's Ra's al Ghul, and I believe it comes out next week, so we're getting there. But, continuing forward, let me grab my next pile here. We are almost done with the new books, and then we will dive into the back issues. But next up here, we got Adventures of Superman John Kent. This is John Kent's standalone Superman book, Road to Injustice. Looks like they're using the Injustice namesake for an upcoming storyline in the main DC universe. This book was pretty good. I really just picked it up to give it a try. I don't know if I'm going to pick up the series long term. I'm probably going to pick up the next issue and just kind of play it by ear, issue to issue, see how I feel about it. But for right now, I thought it was pretty good. The other Superman series that started up is Superman #1. This I really was excited for because this is clearly, by the art style on the cover, a little bit more lighthearted, cartoony of a Superman book. And specifically now it's kind of Action Comics is seemingly more focused on the super family, whereas this book is specifically focused on Clark Kent, which I'm more interested in. I don't know the super family as well. I mostly just want to read some Clark Kent Superman. So I really, really enjoyed this book, and I'm excited to continue picking it up going forward. Next up, we got Thor, issue number 30. We got Corvus Glaive, The Legacy of Thanos Part 2. Having a little bit of a hard time following this story, to be honest. It hasn't been written by Donny Cates. It's been written by a different writer. And it hasn't been my favorite. Sorry, I had a hair in my mouth. Hasn't been my favorite, but I'm obviously going to keep picking up the book. Thor is one of my favorite Marvel heroes, so I'm going to keep picking it up no matter what. Speaking of books that I am going to keep picking up no matter what, Hulk, issue number 11 and issue number 12. I got a variant of number 12, the no prize variant, just because I thought that was a little fun. And then the most recent issue, number 13, Titan Takes Over. This series is coming to an end a lot sooner than I thought it would. When I saw that Donny Cates and Ryan Ottley were taking over the Hulk book, I was very excited. And you guys know I had mixed feelings about it when it started. When I first started reading it, I wasn't a huge fan. It was a little bit too much of a shift in the lighthearted direction from the very dark Immortal Hulk run. But it grew on me, and I started to enjoy it, and I started to see potential in it in a long term. But I guess, I don't know if maybe just other readers weren't liking it, or if Donny Cates just wanted more time to focus on his other endeavors. But this series is coming to an end with, I think, like the next issue or the next two. So I'm a little sad about that, but the good news is that they're coming out with a new run written by Joshua William Johnson, I believe his name is, and they have promised a darker, more Immortal Hulk-esque series. So I'm very excited for that. I'm sure that's going to be really, really good. So we'll have to see how that goes. Moving right along, we got Saga, Chapter 61. Finally came back with a new issue. They were gone for a while. I know they usually wait for the trade paperback to come out before they release new chapters. But they came back with 61 and 62. Not much to say about these books. If you're not reading this series, you're really missing out on some great comic book storytelling. It's really worthwhile to pick up and read. Alright, coming over here now, we got Action Comics 1050. Kind of a big number. Obviously, 1,000's the big number, but 1050 is a cool number, and this is the beginning of the new era. I did pick up this variant, which is, of course, a cover swipe of issue number 1. Beautiful cover. Had to pick that up. I think that's actually an Alex Ross cover. And then I also picked up this variant, not by choice, but because my store didn't have cover A initially, and I wanted to read it, so I picked this up, and then picked up cover A later. Then we got issue 1051. And issue 1052, and you can see from these covers what I mean when I say this series is very much focused on the super family and not just Superman. So it's definitely a wider cast of characters, which is a little bit hard for me to follow sometimes, but I'm faring all right so far. Next up, these next couple books are freaking awesome. As you guys know, Donny Cates is one of my favorite comic writers. Ryan Stegman is one of my favorite comic artists. And their independent series, I'm pointing on the wrong side, Vanish, is one of my favorite comic books to come out ever. And they've been doing foil variants, which I think are super cool. So I had to pick them all up. We have Vanish number 3, foil variant. You guys will know I already have issue 2 and issue 4 in foil because I got them off the shelf. My store had them. It's a 1 per store variant. I happened to get them at my store. So, in order to get the complete series so far, we're only 4 issues in. I picked up issue 3 and I picked up issue number 1 in the beautiful foil variants. So now going forward, I'm going to try and pick up all new issues in foil. If you get them right when they come out, they're only like $15 or so for the foil variant, depending on where you look online. If you get them at your store, it's cover price, or at least it has been for me. But I just think getting in so early in the book that I think really has long-term potential. If they keep doing these foil variants for every single issue, I just think it would be so cool to have the entire series in foil. I just think that's a really cool thing to have. So definitely going to be working on that going forward. But that just about does it for the new books. So let's go ahead and dive into the back issues. These will move a little bit quicker because I don't really have as much to talk about with these, but we got some awesome books. So first up, we got World's Finest, issue 132. Batman and Robin, medieval bandits, throwing a kryptonite cannonball at Superman. Picked this up just because I thought it was a fun comic. Haven't really collected World's Finest much, but I'd like to collect some more going forward. Then we got Detective Comics, issue 592, with Abraham Lincoln trying to stab a woman. I just thought that was hilarious, so I had to pick it up, obviously. And then I picked up Detective Comics issue 315, beautiful Silver Age book, The Jungle Man of Gotham City, riding a rhinoceros. I just think that's a really cool cover, and I wanted to pick it up. Next up, we got a few Action Comics. We got Action Comics 342. Now, this is a really cool book. I picked it up for 2 reasons. One, I just really love this bottom corner here, the text, Earth is Doomed, like the font that it's in and the explosion around it. I just really love that. And secondly, you'll notice here, Superman is thinking to himself about how this guy has fastened a super bomb to his belt and trapped him on Earth, and it'll blow up and kill everyone on Earth. And specifically, he says it'll go off killing 3 billion people. And I just think that's really cool. That this book came out in the 60s when the population of the world was 3 billion. It's kind of like a time capsule, because obviously today we have over, I think, 7-8 billion now. So it's kind of weird to think that back in the 60s that was their population, 3 billion. Moving along, we got Action Comics 338 with Muto, the Monarch of Menace. I picked this book up because I think it's hilarious. That's freaking Megamind. He's awesome. Great cover there. Then we got Action Comics 330, the Diabolical Dr. Supernatural. Supergirl on the cover there. Really, really cool. And then we got Action Comics 310, The Secret of Kryptonite 6. We've got all the different kinds of kryptonite featured on the cover there. We got green, gold, red, white, blue, and then the jewel kryptonite. A little bit resembling rainbow kryptonite, which we don't talk about, but a little bit of a ridiculously stupid kryptonite there. Next up, this book actually comes with a little bit of a story. This is the Mighty Thor 350, and this book was given to me for Christmas by my brother, but there was something that actually came along with it, and that is this right here. This is a model of Stormbreaker, the actual Stormbreaker, not the MCU Stormbreaker. So if you're coming from the MCU, you're probably thinking that's not Stormbreaker, but if you look right here on this comic, you can see that Stormbreaker, Beta Ray Bill's hammer. This is a replica of it made by Diamond Select, I believe, back in like 2007. It's one of, I believe, 1,000, maybe 3,000. My memory is not quite there today. But this thing is heavy. It is full metal. I mean, it is not hollow or anything. But it's super, super cool. It's missing, you see this screw staying out here. There's supposed to be a strap on there, and that was missing. He found this at a antique store. He just saw it, and he was like, Dixon would love that, and he was absolutely right. It's awesome. So I keep it right here behind me. There's a nice little stand that came with it. So I put it right back there beneath all of my comics on the wall there. So really, really cool. Collector's item. Alright, and now the rest of my back issues are all Spider-Man back issues. This is going to be a little reminiscent of old DA Comics videos. As you guys know, I've been really trying to expand my horizons with the books that I collect. I've been trying to pick up more back issues from other series, you know, Action Comics, Detective Comics, Thor, Captain America, Hulk, all of this stuff. But where it all started for me is, of course, with Spider-Man. And I was at a comic store recently when I was on vacation, and they had a bunch of back issues. So I just dove right in and picked up some Spider-Man back issues. Starting with Web of Spider-Man, we have issue 84. I love this cover. We've got Kingpin and the Rose. We've got the Hobgoblin, or I guess this is probably Demo Goblin at this point, down there on the bottom right. We got Web of Spider-Man 63 with this very creepy cover in a graveyard and this demonic Spider-Man. I'm not sure if that is the doppelganger or not, but really cool cover. And then we have Web of Spider-Man 58. Really just love this cover with the red and the black highlights. I think it's really, really cool. Then we have Web of Spider-Man issue 40. Another cover I just love. Spider-Man smashing through the skylight, the shadows. You don't really... Spider-Man's generally a lighthearted character, but I like these more dark kind of covers like that. And this, issue 37. Black Suit Spider-Man coming in for the slasher. Really, really cool books. Moving right along, we have Spectacular Spider-Man, a series that I have not really picked up books for in a while, but I want to start picking up more because I do really like this series. Starting it right off with Spectacular 233, this is Web of Carnage Part 4, so of course I saw a Carnage book, I had to pick it up. As you can tell, I'm a big fan of Carnage. I got issue 187 with Vulture taking Aunt May up into the sky. Issue 185, because giant frogs. Why not? 173, this is Dr. Octopus Christmas issue. Great stuff there. We got 137 featuring a cover appearance of Jesus Christ himself. This is the Return of the Tarantula. They seem to be fighting in a church, and there's a stained glass art depiction of Jesus in the background. I just thought that was a little bit funny. So I wanted to pick that up. Then we have issue 130, going back to the classic Spectacular title font there. Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man. We got Hobgoblin and Kingpin on the cover there. Issue 127 with the Lizard and the black suit. 124, Spider-Man versus Dr. Octopus. Obviously, one of my favorite Spider-Man villains. So had to pick that book up. Next up, we have issue 117, and I actually picked up 2 copies of this book because I forgot that I had picked it up. Basically, I picked up this copy, a couple months passed, and I was at a store, and I picked up this copy, and I didn't remember that I had already gotten it, so now I have 2 copies of that one. This one's a little bit nicer colors. They kind of stand out a little bit better. That one you can see is a bit faded. And then moving right along, we got issue 115. Doctor Strange cover. Love that crossover. I really love Doctor Strange as a character. I think he's just so cool. Then we got 109. Let's just take a moment and admire this cover here while I sip some water. He who is without sin. The black suit Spider-Man up on top of that building. That is just such a cool cover. So amazing. And then we got issue 82. Featuring Cloak and Dagger, Punisher, Kingpin. Really awesome cover. Love that. And lastly, I picked up some Web of Spider-Man. I picked up some Spectacular Spider-Man. I had to pick up some Amazing Spider-Man. Now, I haven't really picked up Amazing Spider-Man back issues in a while, and there's a reason for that. They're so freaking hard to find. I have majority of the 300s. So there's not really a lot of back issues from then that I need, and those are the ones you mostly see. If I'm picking up back issues, it's going to be in the 200s. It's going to be in the 100s, and a lot of comic stores just don't even have those, or if they do, they have very few, and they are ridiculously overpriced. But this comic store that I was at, they had some, and they were good prices. So I picked up 4 books that I did not have prior, so adding to the collection, and I got these all for anywhere between $2 and $4 a piece, which in my opinion is a fair price. you'll see some stores charging $10, $15 for these books that have no key issues, no significance. It's just because it's an Amazing Spider-Man book, and those are heavily sought out. So I was very excited to find a store pricing these fairly. We got Amazing Spider-Man issue 296, featuring Dr. Octopus. We got issue 288, Gang War Part 5. We got Daredevil, Black Cat in a weird costume, Falcon versus the Kingpin. Then we got Amazing Spider-Man 279, another Where is Spider-Man cover. Got Jack-O-Lantern and Silver Sable featured there. And then the last book I picked up is issue 278, Justice is Served, featuring a defeated Hobgoblin and Spider-Man standing over him triumphantly. And that is all of my books this week. Well, these 3 months. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it's been a long time since my last video. I definitely do not intend to take that long before my next video. So if you want to see that video when it comes out, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It'll hopefully be coming out next week with another pickups video. And beyond that, like I said, I want to do a video talking about the current Spider-Man run. I want to do some kind of review style videos talking about various books that I'm picking up right now. I still fully want to do a comic book collection video series, kind of going through the updated collection. There's a lot of stuff I want to do, but it's just a matter of what time do I have and making it happen. So one way you can heavily encourage me to make it happen is by hitting that like button. When my videos get likes, that is a huge motivator for me to keep coming back and keep making videos. So if you want to see more videos, you want to see more videos more often, hitting that like button is the best thing you can do to show me that you enjoy these videos and you want to see more. And also, leave a comment, man. I love hearing from you guys. What are your thoughts on any of the books I picked up? What are you picking up right now? What are some comic books that you are so excited you picked up recently? Share down in the comments below. I want to hear what your most exciting pickups have been in the last couple of months. And I read every single comment, so I look forward to seeing what you guys have to say down there. But that's going to do it for me, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for tuning in. Peace out.